Angel Reese calls herself the Michael Jordan of the WNBA. So why did Shaquille O'Neal, one of the biggest names backing her, come out and say she's no legend compared to Caitlin Clark? And why did he say Sophie Cunningham, a player who wasn't even in the All-Star Game, is more marketable than her? Shaq runs Reebok's basketball division. When the guy who signs the check starts questioning your game, that's not a bad week anymore. That's a real problem. We're breaking down exactly what happened in the WNBA All-Star Game in Chicago, reveal what Shaq said that destroyed Reese in favor of Clark and Cunningham, and why it might cost Reese her deal. Are you Team Caitlin and Team Sophie? Or are you Team Reese? Let me know down in the comments below.
That one, as Clark went for the steal on Angel Reese. A'ja Wilson getting the ball. And then saying, hey, I wasn't even trying to there. A'ja Wilson and Angel Reese hugging, laughing about it.
Oh,
and now Angel goes down. Oh, no, Angel goes down now. And A'ja Wilson has to pick her up. What a fun interaction there between Angel Reese and...
Let's talk about the play that summed up Angel Reese's entire weekend. Wide open under the basket, nobody within 3 feet of her, and she still couldn't get the ball to drop. No hand in her face, no contest, just an easy look at the rim that clanked off and rolled away. That's the clip that spread across every basketball account by Saturday night. Then it got worse. A'ja Wilson blocked her on the very next trip down the floor without even leaving the ground, just stood there, straight up, and got a piece of it anyway. Reese tried to run back on defense and tripped over Wilson's own foot, stumbling to the floor while Wilson didn't even have to move. 3 plays, 1 opponent, and Reese looked lost on every single one. What made the tape so brutal wasn't just the misses. It was what came after. Reese's shoulders dropped, she didn't sprint back on defense, and the frustration on her face said more than any stat sheet could. Body language like that gets clipped and replayed way more than a missed shot ever does, because fans notice when a player checks out mentally in real time. And this didn't happen in garbage time. This stretch sat right in the middle of a scoreless 9 minutes for Reese. A stretch where she couldn't buy a bucket no matter what she tried. 9 minutes of court time and 0 points to show for it is the kind of stat line that makes a highlight reel turn into a punchline. Here's the thing about All-Star games. Nobody plays defense, everybody pads their numbers, and even bench guys drop 20 points because no one's guarding anybody. Reese couldn't even take advantage of that. In a setting built for empty stats and easy buckets, she still walked away with nothing to show. Cameras caught the bench during all this, and it wasn't pretty. Some players laughed, others just went quiet, and that mix of chuckles and awkward silence told you everything about how her own peers reacted in the moment. Nobody had to say a word for it to feel like a roast happening in real time.
I want to ask about 2 moments. Have you ever blocked a shot that you didn't mean to block?
Right. Angel was not supposed to do that. I was trying to get out of the way. I do not like to block shots during All-Star games because what am I doing? So yeah, no, I've never had that happen to me, and I'm so sorry.
Social media did the rest. Within hours, the clips turned into memes, and the jokes about her calling herself the Michael Jordan of the WNBA started flooding timelines. People weren't just mocking a missed layup, they were mocking the gap between what she calls herself and what showed up on the floor that night. None of this happened in isolation either. It fit right into a weekend full of these moments for Reese, one embarrassment stacking on top of another. The box score said 0 points in 9 minutes at an exhibition game where scoring is basically free. If you thought that was bad, let's rewind to the day before when she was brutally snubbed at practice.
It's so funny because when my plane was landing yesterday, he was right next to my plane too. And he was like, they were like, VIP, nobody can get off the plane. I'm like, well, we VIP too. And they said Obama, I was like, oh, okay.
Barack Obama walked into All-Star practice, and every single player in that gym straightened up. This is a former president, somebody who could have stopped to shake hands with anybody in the room, and every All-Star knew it. So when he walked in, all eyes went to him, waiting to see who he'd talk to first. He walked straight past Reese and went right to Caitlin Clark. Didn't pause, didn't glance her way, just moved through the room with a clear target in mind. Clark got the handshake, the conversation, and the attention of a former president in front of her peers, while Reese stood a few feet away watching it happen.
Oh, hey, Caitlin, how are you? Really nice to meet you. You're great. You're fantastic.
Thank you.
Don't let all this nonsense get you down.
Crazy. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you know,
Crazy.
I always say
Don't worry.
one of the things that was luckiest for me was I didn't get famous till I was like 45. So I was an old man. I mean, you're my daughter's age. They're not to have that much, burden and nonsense.
Obama told Clark not to let this nonsense get to her and to hold on to her joy through it all. Think about that for a second. A former president of the United States giving Caitlin Clark personal advice on staying above the noise, in a gym full of all-stars who would have killed for 30 seconds of his time. That's what made this moment sting so bad. Obama's not just some celebrity walking through, he's one of the most recognizable men on the planet. And the fact that he chose Clark to single out in a room full of talent said something. He wasn't there to greet everybody equally. He picked one player to connect with, and it wasn't the one calling herself the Michael Jordan of the league. So picture the split screen here. Clark's getting real advice from a former president about handling pressure and staying positive, while Reese stands off to the side getting absolutely nothing. Not even a nod. That kind of optics doesn't need a caption. Cameras caught it, and the internet did the rest within minutes. This is where the bigger theory about Reese starts making more sense. It's not just fans who seem cold on her, it's looking more like her own peers and public figures around the league feel the same way. A missed layup is one thing, but getting skipped over by a former president in front of everybody you play with is a different kind of embarrassment, the kind that says something about how people actually see you.
So don't lose that joy. The game's like the game. And you're a hooper. And you
I
hoop.
try sometimes.
No, you always hoop.
Thanks.
And you're on a nice little run right now.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
You mind if I get a picture?
Yeah, come on.
Ready?
Come on.
So cute. Wait, guys, get in with me too.
Come on.
Nice to meet you.
Come on.
The clip spread fast, and the reactions weren't kind. People pointed out how Obama didn't even glance her direction, and the comparisons to Clark's moment started stacking up alongside the layup clip from the day before. 2 humiliations in 2 days, both caught on camera, both spreading the same way. And this wasn't the last one either. The shoe game hadn't even happened yet, and what went down there made the Obama snub look almost mild by comparison. Because once the All-Stars started lining up for Clark's new CC ones, Reese was about to get embarrassed again, this time by her own teammates. Caitlin Clark's new CC ones aren't even in the market, and already every All-Star wanted a pair. Players crowded around her locker asking when they could get their hands on the shoe. And it wasn't just role players either. Courtney Williams wanted a pair. Natasha Heidemann wanted a pair. Jonquel Jones right there asking Clark for her shoe too.
Hey, and I'm wearing these tonight.
I'm putting mine on right now.
I made a call to the president, and y'all see what happened.
Thank you. Oh, give me a hug, girlie.
We love you.
I think we're all the same size.
Hell yeah. We love the president. We love the president.
You're the second player to ever play them after this other young girl. But yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
And I'm about to wear these right now too.
Tonight. Yeah, put yours. That's why I said
They go my
fit.
fit.
Courtney's gonna make sure I see 40 tonight.
Okay, you need to hold it down, bro.
I'm wearing these tonight. Stop playing. But hey, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Think about that for a second. Jones just won MVP of the entire exhibition, the best player on the floor that weekend by the league's own vote, and she's asking for her sneakers instead of pushing her own brand's gear. That's not a small detail. When the MVP of the game wants somebody else's shoe more than the stuff she's already sponsored to wear, that tells you exactly whose gear people actually want on their feet.
That's crazy.
They were the same size as me. Oh, okay.
And Reese was standing right there the entire time. Not across the room, not off doing an interview, right in the middle of it while her peers swarmed Clark, asking for a shoe deal favor. So Reese offered up her own line. She told them she had a shoe she could give them too, tossing it out like an afterthought in the middle of everybody circling Clark instead. Nobody said yes. Nobody even really responded. The offer just sat there, ignored, while the line for Clark's shoes kept going. That silence is what made the clip take off online. You had one player getting swarmed by her own peers begging for a pair, and a few feet away another player offering hers up and getting nothing back, not even a polite maybe. Split screen stuff, and it didn't need any commentary because the visual told the whole story by itself. Behind all of it sits the sponsor money. Nike backs Clark's CC1, and Nike doesn't put its weight behind a shoe unless the demand is already there or building fast. Reebok backs Reese's line, the same Reebok that's been trying to make her their new face since she went pro. One shoe had actual players lining up to wear it. The other got offered up and passed over by the same room. Why do you think no All-Star wanted Reese's shoe? Let me know down in the comments below and drop a like.
What y'all think, chat? Ooh. I like that little charm. Yeah,
What's the chat saying?
Fire.
Oh, fire. Fire. Nice.
They know what's going on.
Me and Courtney twinning tonight. And then we got triplets on the bench.
You said, dang, so really nobody got them. Like, these exclusive as hell.
Yeah, it's just we all wear the same. So I had extras. I'm like, I gotta get you guys right.
That's love, bro. You gonna sign them after the game?
You want me to?
I do.
Right. Just don't sell them on eBay.
No, hell, come on, girl. You crazy as hell. You crazy as hell. Probably like a couple M's, though.
At least, man, you gotta get close, all right?
That's the whole story of where the league's pull sits right now, plain and simple. It's not about marketing budgets or who's louder on social media. It's about what players actually want on their own feet when nobody's watching the cameras. And in that locker room, in that exact moment, the answer wasn't close. None of this happens without the reason everyone wanted a piece of Clark in the first place. She didn't just show up with a shoe deal and a name. She went out and played a version of basketball that weekend nobody else on that floor could touch. Clark scored 11 points in the first 3 minutes of the game. 11 points before most fans even settled into their seats. And she wasn't done. By the final buzzer, she'd knocked down 5 logo threes, finished with 17 points and 5 assists, and made the whole thing look like she was playing a different sport than everybody else on the floor.
Marcus talked about being excited to play with Olivia Miles as Clark puts in the first points of tonight's All-Star Game.
And
here is Clark. Clark pulling and hitting on a deep. Players going up against each other. Howard having an incredible year for the Lynx. Clark again on a bomb. Here's Clark. Will she try again? You bet! Caitlin Clark with 3 logo bombs within the first 3 minutes.
The threes weren't just makes. They were pulled from way behind the line. The kind of range that makes defenders back off and still doesn't matter because she's shooting from 4 feet further out anyway. And it wasn't just the shooting. Clark brought actual defensive pressure in a game where defense usually doesn't exist, contesting shots and getting into passing lanes while everybody else jogged back on defense out of habit. That's what made it stand out so much. Most All-Stars treat this game as a lap around the league, a chance to throw alley-oops and skip the effort on both ends. Scoring like Clark did, with real defense mixed in, doesn't happen in a setting built for showing off instead of competing. Because that's what All-Star Weekend actually is for most players, a party with a scoreboard attached. Guys and women take selfies at half-court, throw up threes without moving their feet on defense, and call it a night. Clark showed up and played like the score counted, like there was something to prove even with nothing on the line.
With the steal. 1-point Team Spoon lead. Clark connects on the 3. 4-3 of the half. A'ja Wilson getting the block. And then saying, hey, I wasn't even trying to there. A'ja Wilson and Angel Reese hugging loud. How excited they were to play together here in the All-Star Game as Wilson flicks it in off the feet. Backing away, firing a deep 3 and hitting.
Off the court, her schedule looked just as packed. She hit charity events, sat down for fan meet and greets, and worked through sponsor activations for State Farm, Wilson, and Nike, all in the same stretch of days most players spend at parties. She handed out CC1 shoes to teammates and fans herself, not through some staged giveaway, but actual box-in-hand, shoes-on-feet moments with real people in front of her.
I'm excited, obviously these weekends are packed with a lot of different stuff, but you never take for granted a moment like this. It's so fun to share with everybody. I feel very authentic, I feel very real. I feel like they can feel like I was in their shoes at one point because I was. I lived their dream. I played every sport growing up. I played with the boys, and I didn't think it was any different. I get to live out my dream, and that's really special. And not everybody's gonna end up being a WNBA player or a professional athlete, but hopefully you allow them to dream to be whatever they want to be in life, and I think that's a really impactful thing on young people.
Now put that next to Reese's weekend. VIP tables, a pink aesthetic built for photos, and positioning that looked good on Instagram but didn't put her in a room with actual fans the way Clark's schedule did. One player spent the weekend building relationships. The other spent it building a look. By Sunday night, the gap between these two brands wasn't a debate anymore. It was just obvious to anybody watching. Clark's weekend showed up in stats, in shoe demand, in a schedule packed with people instead of poses. And when Shaq sat down to talk about all of it afterward, he didn't hold back on saying exactly what everybody already saw with their own eyes.
To have a Barbie is you got to be iconic. Yeah, you have to do some real things, and I knew it was going to take some time because there's so many great women that are Barbie dolls and they have their own doll, but I knew that's what I wanted, and I spoke that into existence.
Shaq has been one of Reese's biggest backers since she turned pro. He's had her on his podcast, praised her rebounding, talked her up as one of the faces of the league's future. So when he opened his mouth after this weekend, people expected more of the same. Instead, they got something completely different. Because Shaq watched the whole thing unfold just like everybody else. The scoreless 9 minutes, the block where Wilson didn't even leave her feet, Obama walking straight past her to get to Clark, the shoe line nobody wanted. All of it landed in the same 3 days, and Shaq doesn't seem like the type to pretend he didn't notice.
Why do you think people love Caitlin Clark, besides her skills?
She can shoot threes from logo.
We never seen that before. That's my point. Steph Curry, a little kid. Steph Curry, I love, you know why I love Steph Curry? Because I've never seen that before.
His tone on Clark flipped completely. Years back, he questioned whether she'd hold up against WNBA size and physicality. Now he's calling her the truth. Flat out, no hedging. That's a real shift for a guy who used to bring up doubts about her game every chance he got. When Shaq goes from skeptic to full praise, it means what he watched actually changed his mind, not just his talking points. Then came the line that actually hurt. Shaq said flat out that Reese is no legend, which lands like a direct shot at her own Michael Jordan of the WNBA comparison. You don't get to crown yourself the greatest ever, and then have Shaquille O'Neal, a guy who's actually won championships and sat in that conversation himself, tell the world you're not one. That's not a subtle jab, that's a correction, in public, from somebody whose opinion carries weight in that locker room.
Well, she's doing stuff we've never seen before. Never seen nobody do that on a consistent basis. There's a lot of girls in WNBA that have done it in spurts, but that game I'm watching y'all in the Final Four, I'm like, damn, and I was a hater because I'm down with you. She's not gonna hit that shot, and bam, damn, she's not gonna hit that shot, man. If I say 10 times you're not gonna hit the shot and you hit the shot, that means you're the truth.
Then he brought up Sophie Cunningham, asking why she wasn't even on the All-Star roster and suggesting she should have taken Reese's spot instead. Cunningham's not just a bench piece for the Fever, she's turned into one of the most marketable names in the league, playing right alongside Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and Lexi Hull on a roster that's building something real. Shaq pointing at her by name, in the middle of roasting Reese, wasn't random. It was a direct comparison of who actually deserves the spotlight right now. And here's what makes this land different than some random take. Shaq runs Reebok's basketball division. Reebok signs Reese's checks. So when the president of her own shoe company goes on record questioning her game and her legend status, while praising a Nike athlete and floating a replacement candidate, that's not just a hot take from a retired player. That's an executive publicly questioning the value of his own investment. This is where Reese's sponsor problem stops being a rumor floating around Twitter and starts looking like a real business conversation happening behind closed doors at Reebok. When the president of your own shoe company starts comparing you to a player who wasn't even in the building, that's not gossip anymore. That's a business risk sitting right out in the open. Reebok didn't sign Reese to hear its own executive praise a Nike athlete instead. Clark's healthy. The Fever roster runs deep with Boston, Mitchell, Hull, and Cunningham, and a real championship run sits on the table with Clark in the MVP conversation all season. One team is building something real. One player is left explaining herself to the man who signs her checks. Are you Team Caitlin and Team Sophie? Or are you Team Reese? Let me know down in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications as we're bringing you all the action and top stories. Click the video on the screen, and we'll see you in the next one.